This Sunday, live from Paris, WWE presents The Clash in Paris. And let's get right down to it. We remember last year, Backlash 2024 in Lyon, France, had maybe the greatest crowd in the history of WWE. What's up, Paris can duplicate that this weekend. We're going to be starting off with the Tribal Chief versus the Tribal Thief, the Uafawa versus the Shuafawa, as the OTC Roman Reigns takes on Bronson Reed with, of course, the Oracle Paul Heyman in his corner. Now, this feud really kicked up after SummerSlam. The Shuafawa stuff, where obviously Bronson Reed was stealing Roman Reigns' shoes, started before SummerSlam as they were building up the tag team match between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. During that tag team match at SummerSlam, though, Jey Uso was the one that pinned Bronson Reed, not Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns last Monday night on Raw echoed the sentiment that, hey, the American Nightmare, the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes, he was right. He told him 2 years ago he was no longer going to have a bloodline. He was no longer going to have a wise man. Now Roman Reigns is on his own. And while the fans are chanting, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Roman, that he is not the same guy. And that he needs to get that edge back. And that someday he will be the undisputed WWE champion again, potentially planting seeds with him and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 42. But for now, he needs to take on Bronson Reed, get his revenge on Paul Heyman for what Paul Heyman did, screwing him over at WrestleMania 41 earlier this year. Bronson Reed has obviously came a long way from where he was at a year ago, where he was just starting to break out by tsunamiing Seth Rollins 6 straight times on a Monday Night Raw. Roman Reigns has done a really good job putting over a lot of people. The only match he's really won clean one-on-one in the past year was the Solo Sikoa Tribal Combat match. I do think while Reed and Breaker took the fall at SummerSlam, they're going to get their revenge here. I don't suspect Roman Reigns to stay around for the Crown Jewel event in Perth. I think Roman won't be back till around maybe Survivor Series. Maybe we get him involved in the War Games cage with the Vision stable. So I think Bronson Reed goes over here. I think you're going to see a lot of tsunamis. Roman Reigns may even go out on a stretcher. And I can see Bronson Reed maybe not pinning Roman. Maybe he does. I could be wrong. But I could see a screwy finish here where it's a DQ count-out situation. And then Reed just takes out Roman Reigns. Roman leaves on a stretcher. It protects both guys. Though every time Roman Reigns in the ring, he makes everybody better. I'm excited for this contest. Now, Rusev returned the night after WrestleMania 41 for Monday Night Raw, and he's been in this feud with Sheamus really ever since. It's been Rusev's big first feud since coming back to WWE. These two have had brawls and physical, destructive matches on Raw. Their feud is going to end in an old-fashioned Donnybrook classic street fight here. I do think Sheamus goes over. It's obviously his match type. You know, there's going to be a lot of Irish sentiments here. There's going to be the bar. There's going to be the bar stools. There's going to be, potentially some drinks that are, some Irish whiskey maybe that are thrown. And it's just going to be an old classic street fight, an old classic brawl between two former friends, now rivals. But I think these two are really going to have a good, fun, entertaining match. It's not going to mean as much. Both these guys are kind of stuck in the mid card over there in the Monday Night Raw division. But I think it's going to be a fun match. I think Sheamus will end up winning in a bro kick. Rusev has beat him down now multiple times after matches in the occasion. I think Sheamus, the babyface here, goes over because I don't think there's going to be a lot of babyface results throughout the night at Clash in Paris. Then we get to the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. So we all know Becky Lynch had that great feud with Lyra Valkyria coming off WrestleMania 41, where they won the Women's Tag Team titles and they lost them the next night to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They started this feud throughout the whole summer. Well, Nikki Bella came back and was supposed to be in a feud with Liv Morgan. Obviously, popped her shoulder out against Kairi Sane on that on Monday Night Raw. So she came back. She was in the Evolution Battle Royal. She was competing for a potential Women's World Championship match at Clash in Paris, which was eventually won by Stephanie Valkyr. But we've seen Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch go back and forth in these promos. We've seen, Becky Lynch take a shot at one of Nikki Bella's best friends, Natalia, from back in Nikki Bella's era. And now that Becky Lynch has officially moved off Lyra Valkyria, Nikki Bella is wanting to win her first mid-card women's singles championship that she has been able to compete for in WWE. And Nikki and Becky, they've never really had a one-on-one bout, but I love the story they're telling here of the fact that, Becky Lynch came up right in PCB during that time where the sort of woman's evolution, if you will, was ending, but the revolution was just starting, right? With Becky, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, etc. That new crop of women coming up, and they did the whole PCB versus Team Bella versus Team Bad SummerSlam triple threat match, and you had Nikki Bella on Raw a couple weeks ago, basically saying that Becky Lynch was in the shadow of Charlotte Flair. And Nikki Bella was on the same brand Friday Night SmackDown in 2016 when Becky Lynch became the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. But the ironic thing is, while they have crossed paths here, they have never once come to pass in blows on one-on-one competition. And now Becky Lynch has been a great heel. She's getting great heat. I think she's enjoying cutting her promos and doing the things she's doing as a heel right now. I'm really enjoying this run. Nikki Bella has always been a safe worker. Again, I think these two girls are looking forward to having sort of a one-off, one-on-one match with each other, if you will. I don't think this feud is going to extend past this match. We know Nikki Bella's personal history. We know how she feels about Paris. She has, a former marriage with the Dancing with the Stars shows, Artem, where she got married in Paris. So I know Nikki wanted to be there. I think Nikki and Becky sort of a generational cross where we never got this one-on-one match. Now Nikki trying to win her first ever Women's Intercontinental Championship match. I could see a rack attack, a kick out by Becky. Becky has been using the disarmer to submit people more than the manhandle slam here, but I do think they're going to protect Nikki Bella a little bit here. Manhandle slam from the man. Becky Lynch retains the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Then we get to John Cena versus Logan Paul. And the funniest thing about this, folks, is we remember, of course, John Cena and Logan Paul teamed up against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso at Money in the Bank. When John Cena was a heel, John Cena said that Logan Paul was the next face of WWE, that Logan Paul was the next WWE champion. Well, now that John Cena is a babyface again, R-Truth is a babyface again. They're completely forgetting about the John Cena heel turn. John Cena's act like he's never said anything good about Logan Paul. Logan Paul, though, does keep reminding John Cena about what he said, and John Cena has publicly said in interviews how good he thinks Logan Paul is. And I have said on multiple occasions, Logan Paul has never had a bad match in WWE. But what I find really interesting is the story they're telling here is that, well, Logan Paul may be a good quote unquote celebrity wrestler. He's still using WWE to advance his prime, to advance his podcast. He's not really a serious wrestler. He's more of a bully. And no one takes him seriously. That's why all the fans boo him. And John Cena wanted to wrestle the likes of AJ Styles and Seth Rollins and Jacob Fatu and Dominic Mysterio during his last WWE run, but now, because of the fact that Brock Lesnar is looming over his shoulder and he can't fight Brock Lesnar yet, and Logan Paul picked a fight, John Cena is going to have to teach him a lesson. Now, I doubt that Brock Lesnar, I would be shocked if he does fly all the way to Paris to cost John Cena a match. They may play his music or do something cheap, but I know John Cena is a big fan of Logan Paul, internally, if you will. He's talked about Logan Paul, as I said, a lot outside of the ring. I think there's going to be some viral moments. You could see Logan Paul doing the prime bottle for the table. We know Cena is a very safe worker. Obviously, Logan is going to take some AAs. He's going to take a five knuckle shuffle. He's going to kick out. I think Cena will take a one lucky shot right. I think Logan will deliver the splash. But for Cena and Brock Lesnar to mean anything here, for John Cena maybe to doubt himself going into a match with a beast Brock Lesnar at the WrestlePalooza PLE, going head to head with AEW All Out, on September 20th from Indianapolis, the first WWE PLE on the direct-to-consumer service. I think John Cena needs to doubt himself a little bit, and I would actually not be surprised here. This is my pick that Logan Paul goes over clean as a whistle in a shock to the Paris crowd there on Sunday in this stadium. I think Logan Paul goes over one lucky shot, a buckshot lariat, a splash, however it is. I think he pins John Cena. I think there is a scenario where he does the "you can't see me," where he tries the five knuckle shuffle, where he acts like John Cena during the match, and we all think it's going to cost him. But Logan Paul is going to show the world why he is that good in that ring. John Cena puts him over on Sunday. And finally, the main event featuring the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Jey Uso, LA Knight. We all know Braun Breaker is going to be there to interfere on that half of the vision. We all see that Jey Uso, CM Punk, and LA Knight, well, they all want to get their hands on Seth Rollins. They all have a legitimate claim to. Obviously, Punk got screwed out of the world title by Rollins at SummerSlam. LA Knight got screwed out of the world title by Punk the night after SummerSlam. Jey Uso has yet to get his rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship after losing it to Gunther. That's where this storyline comes in here at. But as much as they all want to get their hands on Rollins, Jey and Punk may be friends, but Jey Uso don't care, right? Jey Uso wants to go to the world title. LA Knight and CM Punk may be frenemies, but LA Knight wants the world title. CM Punk definitely wants the world title. I think the biggest question here is who takes the fall because LA Knight has moved now to the Monday Night roster basically in a transfer with Sami Zayn, who's now on the SmackDown roster. And my question is, I think LA Knight is starting to gain momentum. We know what happened in Saturday night's main event between LA Knight and Seth Rollins. I still think there's meat on the bone there for a real feud over the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think CM Punk is going to take the fall. I think he's going to be the one to get the interference from Braun Breaker. And does Bronson Reed come out? And then does Roman Reigns come out? I think the storyline that they may be going for eventually here is Roman Reigns trying to get involved with Bronson Reed, and maybe he inadvertently Superman punches or spears Jey Uso. Jey Uso is the one who takes the fall with a stomp from Rollins, and Roman Reigns costs Jey Uso the World Heavyweight Championship. And now Jey has a problem with Roman, and maybe Roman's got to learn how to interact with this Jey because this Jey is different, right? He's former World Heavyweight Champion, and maybe Jey has an issue with Roman. And now that Jey has lost the World Heavyweight Championship, he's not yeeting as much, if you'll notice. Maybe he goes through some sort of crisis. Maybe there's even a heel turn for Jey Uso on Roman Reigns down the line. That's where I think we go with this Clash in Paris. I think it's going to be a barn burner. Everybody will probably get their finisher. There's going to be a stomp. There's going to be a GTS. There's going to be a BFT. It's going to be a classic match. It's going to be a lot of fun. In the end, there's going to be interference. I think Roman probably somehow screws Jey Uso out of it. Seth Rollins will stomp Jey Uso. Seth Rollins will retain the World Heavyweight Championship. So, a quick recap here. I do have Bronson Reed defeating Roman Reigns. It's going to be DQ countout situation, but Bronson Reed stands tall by delivering multiple tsunamis to the OTC. Sheamus goes over Rusev in the old-fashioned Donnybrook. Becky Lynch will go over Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental Championship with a manhandle slam. Logan Paul will pin John Cena clean. And then I think Roman Reigns does mistakenly cost Jey Uso the World Championship. He targets Bronson Reed, who's out there to help the Vision in the main event. Accidentally hits Jey Uso. Seth Rollins hits the stop. Seth Rollins retains the World Heavyweight Championship. We can get a Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and maybe even an LA Knight CM Punk feud down the line. But this Clash in Paris is going to be a great event. I will be live on Sunday evening at about 8 p.m. Could be a little bit earlier, could be a little bit later. Make sure you have your notifications set on the Brandon's World YouTube channel. That is 24 hours from now. Sunday night, we are going to be talking Clash in Paris. Like that clip from the Brandon's World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brandon's World podcast right here on YouTube.